Come with me in this moment of peace while I am watering my plant and talking about the victim mentality. Here's the mantra of today. I am ready to grow, and from today on, I decide to let go of the suffering of the past and embrace the gift of the present. Welcome. I am Jane-Priscillia, and you're welcome to the community, The New Me. In today's message, I want to deep dive into something that many of us have experienced at some point in our life, the victim mentality. And today, we are going to explore what is a victim mentality, how unhealed trauma fuels it, and what is the path forward to reclaim your power. Just enjoy. The victim mentality can seep into every corner of our life. Our work, relationships, love, and even our finances. It's that inner voice that creates frustration, negativity, and a sense of helplessness. But where does this come from? In my view, it's often rooted in a unhealed trauma. A deep wound that we might not even realizing that we are carrying. I think that the victim mentality comes from the fact that you have been a victim, but you did not do the work to heal it and grow from it. Either you're unaware of it or in denial. But your body and your mind know and they remember. So they find ways to signal that something isn't right. Whether through physical pain, with you getting sick, weak, etc., or through mental pain, with your mind playing with your thought or your happiness, doubting and constant blaming. I mentioned earlier that for me, it comes from the fact that you have been a victim. But let me remind you what is a victim. A victim is a person or an entity that suffers harm, injury, or loss as a result of an event or an action, often due to someone else's wrongdoing, an accident, or a natural disaster. Victim can be affected physically, emotionally, or financially. Being a victim can create trauma because it creates psychological and emotional distress. I think that unfortunately, we are associating the word victim with something too negative and often seen as weakness. And because of the stigma, many of us are denying our experience as a victim. And this only strengthens the grip of the victim mentality. But what is the victim mentality? I prepare for you this small presentation, so feel free to put pause. This mindset is often characterized by pessimism, self-pity, and repressed anger. It's when you start blaming others for your situation and you feel powerless to change your circumstances. But please, feel free to put pause and have a look on the examples. And with the victim mentality, another expression of it is to find comfort in self-pity or sympathy of others. And it can feel oddly reassuring to have a reason or an excuse for why things aren't going well. This mentality can create a false sense of security because it's allowing us to avoid confronting deeper issues. But where does this mentality come from? As I said, this is my opinion, but I think that the answer often lies in a unhealed trauma. And this trauma, whether big or small, shape how we view the world, but also ourselves. And if left unaddressed, they can lead us to adopting a victim mentality. So, as you're seeing, you have two types of trauma. You have the big T for big trauma, and you have the small t for small trauma. The big T are the major life events that can profoundly impact us. And they often lead to a deep sense of vulnerability and helplessness. Then you have the small t. So while they seem less significant, they can still have a lasting effect on our mental and emotional well-being. And by understanding this trauma, we can begin to see how they contribute to a victim mentality. So it's important to recognize that this mindset doesn't come out from nowhere. It's a response from a real pain and a real suffering. Facing those unhealed trauma is a key to moving from a victim mentality to an healthier mindset. Okay, come with me. Let's put some makeup on this face because we are going through a real healing and I need to be cute for that. I think that you need to acknowledge that you have been a victim of certain events in life and you have to understand that it's okay to feel the way you do. It's really the first step toward a true healing. Reclaim your power and your right as a victim. Let me tell you right now, it feels so good. I think we need to claim our power back. Come with me in my office. Welcome to my office. These are the steps that I followed to be able to reclaim my power as a victim. Acknowledgement of harm. First, the emotional recognition, and second, the understanding of the context. The first step on realizing that you have been a victim is recognizing the emotional impact on what has happened. Accepting those emotions is crucial to understanding the full scope of what has been done to you. But then you also have to understand the context. Recognize the role of the external factor, but also the people that might have been involved into what happened to you. This will help you understand that the harm was not your fault and you have been a victim. Second, the validation of the experience. The first aspect of it is the self-validation, and the second aspect of it is the external validation. For the self-validation, it's important to validate your experience and your emotions. That also means that you are allowing yourself to feel that what has happened to you was wrong and that your feelings are valid. What can help you also is to seek for external validation. Talk about it to friends, to professionals, but friends, to people around you, because this brings external validation and this can help you process what happened to you. But this can also reinforce the reality of what you have endured. 3. Navigating the impact. So now that you have recognized the fact that you are a victim, you need to assess the impact of this into your life. Not just emotionally, but also mentally, physically, socially. How does this had an impact on you? Understanding this can guide your healing process. And then of course you have to cope with the fallout. So coming to terms with the victimization often comes with a lot of negative emotions, frustration, anger, sadness, but also guilt and confusion. So that means that for you, learning a healthy coping mechanism can help you during this time of healing. Stay hydrated for the risk of becoming stuck. Avoid being in this victim identity. Once we start realizing that we have been victim of something or that something was wrong, we stay stuck in this mindset and it becomes a bit our identity. And this can be dangerous because then we start living life with passivity and negativity become more and more present in our mind. So please be careful, don't stay stuck, avoid having this victim identity. Sometimes we don't even realize that we are having it. So this is where also you need to find the right balance between acknowledgement, you are a victim, yes, but actions. You can take actions toward healing and becoming a better person and not staying stuck in it. This is where we have the 5. Empowerment through recognition. Reclaim your power. This is the best step when we are in this healing journey, when we are reclaiming our powers. Reclaiming your power is taking control where you can take control, meaning setting boundaries, seeking justice for yourself, or sometimes just simply deciding to not let the past and those things define who you are. This is a feeling inside where you just feel like it's over, you know? This is where you can start your healing and growth, because from this point, when you start setting boundaries for yourself and going forward, this is where you can press the pause button and realizing where do you come from, realizing your strength and your resilience, and eventually transform the past pain, this pain, into empowerment. This is such a nice point in our healing process, healing journey. So step number 6 is seeking support. Therapy can help you really heal the last part of this trauma. You can seek support with an hypnotherapist, a psychologist, etc. You can find anyone. But also you can find help and support via community, find connection. And this is where we are entering the step, moving beyond the victimhood. This is where you shift the narrative. This is where you're really taking the pen into your hands and writing how you want to be seen by yourself, but also from others. Being a victim, it's okay. But being a victim also means that you are a survivor. You are a thriller. You are a fierce person. And you have made it until this point. And this is amazing. And from this now, you can find meaning about everything that has happened. Some of us find ways to talk about our pains and relate to others through communities, through YouTube videos as I am doing. Some of us stay in silence because this is what we need. We just need peace. We just need to let go and go to something else, a new chapter of our life. You can just find the meaning that you want and the meaning that you need and let go of it. It's just so nice. I love this step. This is when it's the after. So now we have seen together the points that I wanted to show you. Let's finish watering the plants because I still need to do the bureau and the living room and my bedroom. So let's go together. If I go back now to the big T and small t that I talked about earlier, in my journey, I faced both. And as you can imagine, I had to heal the big T to be able to function as a human being right now. And today I'm 28 years old. I think my big T is totally healed, but I took the time from it and I spent my last 14, 15 years healing it, if not my entire life. And of course, it was needed. So all the steps that I mentioned earlier, I had to do it from my big T. But the topic of today, it's the victim mentality. And you know, I was healing my big T and I did not understood why I still have this victim mentality coming up again and again, especially later on in my life. And then I start thinking, I spent half of my life healing my big T, but I always overlooked those small T, the one that are the daily life or part of how you grow up. You know, you don't pay too much attention to those, and yet they still have an impact into you. So I start realizing that there was a pattern. There was something that was triggering my victim mentality. It was always the same situation that were calling my victim mentality to go back. And then in my mind, it just clicked. I realized it's because I didn't heal one of my small T that come from my childhood. and my relationship with my family members. And when I start realizing this pattern, where did this come from? What it was exactly? This was a turning point for me. This is where I was able to heal. So yeah, it was only when I recognized the pattern that I understood that I needed to address the small t to fully overcome this victim mentality. And I was ready. Indeed, I did all the work for the big T, at least enough to now be able to focus on the small t that was still underlying in the back of my mind. And I think that is also why this victim mentality was coming those past few years. It's because I was ready. The victim mentality is a calling. It comes when you are able to confront whatever you need to confront. And realizing this, it's a turning point. This is where I committed to heal these smaller wounds. Freeing myself from this cycle of negativity and moving forward with a renewal sense of purpose and strength. And so, for this small t, I followed the same steps as the big T. Acknowledgement of harm, validation of experience, navigating the impact, being careful on the risk of becoming stuck, empowerment through recognition. Look what I see in my bedroom. Too useful. Seeking support, and then finally moving beyond the victimhood. So, as a survivor of a trauma, even if it's a small t, you have suffered from an event or a situation that has harmed you at a certain point in your life. And having this victim mentality stops you from the growth and slow your reach to your goal. So choose. Choose to heal and face all of your trauma, and see the victim mentality as a sign that you are ready to heal. As you're running here, you are in the proper right to choose to not suffer from this victim mentality anymore, but see it as a signal that you are now able to grow, to heal your trauma, and to become the magnificent person that you're supposed to be. You are ready for it. Just use those steps that we saw together and become the person that you're supposed to be. Everything is a question of mindset. On the next video, I'm gonna talk about the mindset. I hope you enjoyed the video of today, and thank you again for watching. Like if you liked it, subscribe, show me some support, and again, thank you, and I will see you soon. And let me tell you again the mantra. I am ready to grow, and from today on, I decide to let go of the suffering of the past and embrace the gift of the present.